Alright, hey everybody, AG51 Goose here. This video we're going to do on landing the P-47. It's going to be a little bit different than how they recommend in the book. I mean, if you're really good at landing the airplanes, then you definitely don't have to do it like this. But just doing it this way will ensure you should be able to land the plane every single time without too much of a problem, alright? So we are on the Caucasus map, and we're going to come in and land at Kobuleti here. So we are coming up to our base lag here, and oops, I dropped my altitude again. It should be at 2,000 feet for the base lag here. It's what we're going to use. I might end up being a little under this. And as you come down, or as you go along the upwind lag of coming into the strip, you should roughly be a mile off the airfield or the runway, and you should be doing about 200 knots. Alright, so I get a little closer here. I'll show you guys roughly where a mile is from this airfield. Alright, so we're coming up to our 2,000. You see just off the left of my nose there, that group of buildings and stuff right there, that is a mile off of Kobuleti. Okay, so you know, being between a mile and 2 miles off the runway works fairly well for this, doing it this way. Okay, so you want to be at 200 feet or 200 feet, sorry, we want to be at 2,000 feet. Which actually works out to probably about 2,200, because our altimeter, of course, is set to the air pressure, which is set at sea level. So, and we're a little above sea level here. So even being at this, you know, you don't have to be at 2,000 dead on. You know, it's just 2,000 is a good number, and you should roughly be doing about 200 for airspeed. As you can see, I'm a little over it, but that's all right. No big deal. These things are not like the jets where you hit the autopilot and everything just, you know, goes all nice and fine and dandy for you, right? As you can see, it doesn't, you know, if I give it some up trim, it's going to want to climb on me. You know, if I give it that shot of down trim, it's going to want to go down. So, you know, just kind of got to play around with it. And of course, I'm trying to show you guys stuff here with view and everything, so looking at different things, so it makes it a little tougher to fly it as well, to try and keep it at that certain altitude. So one thing with the P-47 that gets me is that the flaps actually have a neutral on them, and when you take off, they're in the up position. So if you hit your flap button once, because what happens, it goes to neutral, they don't come down. So kind of screws you up. So just remember, you know, you got to hit it twice. Alright, so basically what you want to do is fly out this way on this upwind lag until your tail is about 45 degrees off the end of the runway. Okay, and what that does, it sets you at the right distance to be able to come in at 1,200 feet, which is what we're going to shoot for. Alright. It takes a little longer to land this way, I know, but this way will assure you coming every time. Alright, I'm going to say I'm at 1,200, so I'm going to start my 90-degree turn onto base. Alright, and of course, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to climb in this turn, because I always do that. I'm terrible at doing a level turn. I really am. I've never been good at, you know, doing that. Probably a lot just because I don't practice trying to do it a whole lot. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to slow down some. And I'm sinking a lot here, so I'm going to pull the nose upward because I'm getting slower. And I'm going to put my gear down. Okay, I'm going to put my flaps down now because I'm even getting slower. Okay, so I'm going to start my turn now onto the airfield. As you can see, we can do a nice gentle turn onto the airfield. Probably going to lose a bunch of altitude in here. But like I said, this is kind of why I was saying about starting at the higher altitude. So around here, as we're coming on to final, you want to have full flaps down, full gear down, and be, you know, doing roughly about 110, 120 knots, kind of in this part. As you can tell, I've got the throttle up pretty high, right? Now see, the nice thing is with the altitude I'm coming in at, you can see I can watch the runway the whole time, okay? So I'm getting over my speed here, so I'm going to slow down. I'll bring the throttle back. Now another little trick is your gun sight. This is the reason I kept mine up. Is if you keep that on the end of the runway, right, that is where your plane's going to hit the ground. All right. So a little bit of a cheat, so you can kind of see how to, if you're, you know, gonna make her or be too low or too high. Okay, so as we're getting lower here, you can see I come down maybe a little too quick, but that's all right. Kobuleti does have real long runways. Now see, this is what you want to avoid, right? See, because now I can't see where the runway is. I let myself get too low, and that's not what you want to do, right? But we should still be good to do this. All right, because we got a long runway. Oh, come on, no, don't pull up like that, you bugger. All right, so touch down a little quick there. So that was kind of bad on my part because I let myself get too low there, and I wasn't able to keep my eye on the runway or on the landing strip. So you know, made for a little bit of a rougher landing than what she needs to be. Alright, so when I get down to the end here, I'll spin around, take off, I'll come back, and I'll try that again from that point there of coming in. Alright, so here we go for my second attempt here, and we're doing our base turn now. Coming around on our base turn. So, and as I said previously, on your base turn you want to fly perpendicular with the runway. Try not to lose too much altitude in that. Right, we're going to slow down some, and come on, this thing likes to, alright, so we're going to put the gear down. This thing really likes to take its time in slowing down, and then its time in picking up. Okay, so I'm going to give it some flaps now. It's starting to wobble on me here. So I'm going to put my flaps down. Might be a little early, but I'm going to do it now. Alright, so now I'm going to start my turn into my final here. Alright. Kind of, as you can see, we're going to try and keep my nose up higher this time so I don't lose so much. So you can see I'm sliding under, you know, just about at 1,000 feet now. And now we can get our finish our turn here on the final. Okay, and then we're going to bring our power back. So you should be doing about 120 along here, 115, 120 as you're coming in on final. So I'm starting to slide over 150, so I'm going to speed her up. And like I said in the first one, you can kind of use your gun sight as to where the plane's going to hit the ground here. Right, and I'm still going a little fast, so I'm going to pull the throttle back even more. Which actually is my manifold pressure, right? Okay, but as you can see this time, I'm going to give her some power this time because I'm getting a little shallow. But as you can see this time, I'm keeping that runway where I can see it all the way down. Okay, so now I'm coming over the threshold, little bit of lining up. Okay, and now I'm going to try and hold it here. Don't touch down because we're going too fast. Right, let it stall on so it can't bounce out. Oh yes, that's a way nicer landing. I did get a little hop there, but again, that was because it's still a little too fast. But that's the trick to her. And like I said, if you do it this way, I guarantee you'll land every single time. You know? You might not land without collapsing your gear or bending your prop or whatever, but you'll land every single time if you do it this way. Again, the more you practice, the better you get at it, right? As you can see, my first attempt, I got too low, and you're seeing how I wasn't able to watch the runway. And to me, I think the most crucial part is as you're coming over the runway, you want to know you're in line with it, not hoping you're in line with it, right? And as you could see in this one, there was no doubt. I knew that I was in line with the runway. So, all right, so that's little bit on landing this. Basically it's going to work the same with every airplane out there, or every prop plane, P-51, the Mosquitoes, the 190s. You know, your speeds might vary a little bit on it, but hey, if you do it this way with each airplane, I'm almost guaranteed you're going to land every single time. All right, so I'm going to say, well, sorry. I say AG51 Goose out for now, and we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, everybody, have a good one.